welcome to Wrestling Brothers Breakdown.
We're brothers
who like wrestling. What do we got going on today, Brad?
Something about a revolution. I'm upset. We'll get to why very shortly, I'm sure.
Revolution. This is our review and talk about AEW Revolution show. Only 1 week late, just because we're busy and we have real lives.
Yep. And we're not getting paid enough to do this, so...
Yes. Although we are getting more subscribers, so thank you for hanging out and checking out our show. So we appreciate you.
All right,
let's just jump to the numbers real quick. Brad went 7-2 on his picks for the 9 matches.
Which is good.
That's pretty good.
7-2 is good.
I went 8-1, and so I won the pay-per-view. I got my belt back. You can see right here in the corner. And so my wins and pick records are slowly catching back up to Brad. Brad did hit his dashing take, or his bold take, I mean.
Yeah, no. It's bold, not dashing.
So we'll talk about that later on. But yes, Derek wins the AEW pay-per-view and gets his AEW belt back. So finally good to be back.
Everybody booed. Boo.
It's good to be back on a winning streak. The champ is here, just like my guys Ospreay and Omega. So
it's been an abusive relationship for 25 years, right? Just like John Cena talked about.
I haven't watched that yet, but we shall see. All right, so let's go through the matches. First up match was MJF versus Hangman. Brad sporting his MJF shirt.
MJF, come on, bro.
He's your scumbag. He's a good scumbag,
dude.
But I could telling you, I was like, Hangman was due for a win, and then
you're right. I think you said it in the preview show. He could eat the loss better.
Yeah,
and he did. So I can't wait to see.
He's only got like 3 losses in like the last year or two. Like he doesn't lose a lot, even though you think he does.
And didn't he come out? He came out to like some old music, and then already pulled the swerve and just his other music. And man, the banner
It's cool. I like him. He's a good character. He's a really good character, and he has lots of good stories over the years, and he does lots of good. He was a really good champion too. So, but yeah. I knew he was up for the loss, and so I knew they're going to give it to Hangman, and they're going to do some more with Hangman with somebody else, or maybe even Hangman and MJF one more time.
It was a good opening match. Like, this is how you want to start your pay-per-view. Like this, get everybody hooked, get everybody going.
I will say I do like the AEW pay-per-views when you got 7, 8, 9 matches and 80-90% of them are all bangers. Like, you just know it's going to be good match after match, and they just go. And yeah, there's a little bit of, not as much story in there, but that's what the TV shows are for. And it's just like, we're going to have the good endings to all these matches and then set up new stories. So yeah, good starter match to kick off the pay-per-view. As soon as the match was over, I knew we had picked all the same on the other matches, and so I jumped up and screamed and yelled because I knew I'd won the pay-per-view and the belt back right away, and the rest of the night was just gravy for me.
Yeah, I had to watch it like a day late, and as soon as it went over, I was like, I texted you, I was like, dang it, and you're like, boo. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But dude, was it the MJF? He's going like old school Raven from like WCW. He's like, why you, Paige, and why not me? Why can't I be the guy? Like, what about me? What about Raven? Just
why you turn on me? Yeah.
Oh man,
good stuff.
I love it, dude. I just absolutely love it. It's a good solid match. It's a good solid 4 out of 5. Like,
oh yeah, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 as well. 4 stars. Starts. All right. Next up was Mercedes Moné versus I just wrote Momo. I forgot to write out her whole name.
Momo Watanabe. Watanabe.
Yeah. Girl from, I think she's from Noah or one of the other Japanese promotions, but
this
maybe it might have been Stardom, but
surprised me more than I thought it would. Like, yeah. I thought it was going to be another kind of bathroom match, but I watched it and I was actually impressed with Momo or whatever.
Yeah, she was doing it's called Joshi style, and she was doing some serious kicks, and it did not look like she was pulling them or making them light, like fake wrestling kicks. Like she was just kicking her hard, and so we'll have to look some more of that style up, and that was pretty interesting. So,
I know she has. I know what. I can't even say these names great. I'm terrible with these foreign names. Watanabe has a baseball background, so I know. And I don't know if they've wrestled a lot before, but they looked pretty seamless, like with their transitions. Like everything looks smooth, not like a bunch of noobs out there in like botch city, like we're used to seeing. So as much as I do not like Monet, give her credit. It was a good match. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Yep, I would say it was a pretty decent match as well. I would just give it 3 stars. Just just because I don't like Monet and her character, but she did do better than she usually does, and
Yeah.
the match was more seamless. So props to them on that. And then they're coming up on a year. Hopefully, she'll lose her belt sometime in the next month or two or three.
That's been a long time.
It's been a
Just,
long time, so
oh my gosh.
I think they're getting ready to change up the story here come in the next 2 or 3 months.
I hope so.
So next up was was it a grudge match or just kind of
Whose
a
house?
Swerve's house?
Oh,
Swerve
yeah.
versus Ricochet. So Ricochet finally getting some good storyline and character work in as a heel, and the
He's
scissors.
looking good. He's looking good as a heel. Like,
Yeah,
finally, finally. And then was that Prince Nana
Prince
leaving
Nana. That's who
halfway
I couldn't
through?
remember last time. I couldn't remember his
It's
name.
Prince something. I was like Prince. I don't know what I thought I was thinking, but him leaving halfway through and then coming back, like. But yeah, we were both right. Like, you can't put Ricochet in the main event title yet.
No, it's too soon. He's
He's
not that
not
big of a
there.
star. So, and they've got enough mid card belts that he's got plenty of room to feud for that.
Yeah.
So, and Swerve was due, and I forgot it was for the number one contendership. So we picked that right. Swerve wins, kind of smashes down his grudge against Ricochet, puts himself back in line for next shot back at the title.
Yeah.
I would give
it
this
was a good
one 4 stars.
Yeah, same. Good match. Always going to be entertaining with Ricochet usually. And now that he's buying into that heel character, it just he'll start getting his push maybe a little bit. I don't think he's ready for main event stuff yet, but he's getting up there.
Yeah. Next match was Okada versus Brody King. This one I had to come back and watch later. One of my kids was having a meltdown, and so I missed about 30, 40 minutes of the pay-per-view while I had to go deal with that, watching it live. But
Shout out to kids keeping us
shout
on
out
our
to kids.
toes.
Yeah, I was like, you're ruining my wrestling show. That's all good. That's why I can go back and watch it later. Anyways,
This,
I picked Okada to win this. It was a decent match. I
yeah,
like Brody. He's a really good big guy. There just wasn't as much of a story here. And so I was like, they're just going to have Okada retain. And I'd say it was 3 stars. It was an okay, decent match.
yeah, I would agree. Like your classic, and Takada is not, a little dude, but it's kind of smaller guy versus big boy. But it's still a good match. Like Brody looks good. Like you either with your big guys that either move really well and can wrestle, or they just flat out suck and they're just big oompa
Yeah.
loompas. Like,
Yeah, and they just smash stuff
yeah,
or pick stuff up really heavy.
yeah. So it's good to see him actually moving around and getting some offense in and
Yeah,
not.
Okada is a really good wrestler. He can do whatever you need him to do. So
What was next?
next was the tag team championships. Brad's favorite tag
Oh
team
man, tag
matches.
team matches.
Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners. Both good teams. Hurt Syndicate is doing well as a faction and building themselves up. I think not MJF, MVP.
He's trying to join though, right? He's getting
That
off.
was interesting. MVP is doing a great job being the microphone and selling them and working them as a
Oh yeah.
and then Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley are just look huge and they work well together and they look very strong. It's a good tag team.
Yeah,
They
it's
look
just-
legit.
They do. It just this one was not my favorite. And I don't think I gave a rating. I give 3 stars to the Takaniwa or Brody King one. This seemed like it only almost could have been a squash match. Like
Yeah, I thought it might be, but
and I mean it I don't know.
the Outrunners
It's-
have potential. They're upper mid card tag team. If
It
the
wasn't
tag
my
team,
favorite.
If the tag team division was in a lull, they could be champions for a while. You know, sometimes you'll give teams a belt when they're in a lull to try to give them a little push, and the
Yeah.
division's not doing much. But right now, they're a good TV main event tag team. The Outrunners. I think they are main eventing Collision quite a bit. But yeah, Hurt Syndicate's on too much of a good run right now, so it was kind of obvious that Hurt Syndicate was going to win. And it wasn't a squash match, so they made it entertaining. But yeah, I just give it 3 stars as well.
Yeah, same.
So you're going to have to build up another team to challenge them, and I don't see that happening anytime soon before All In. So Hurt Syndicate will probably retain for the next 2-3 months through the next 2 pay-per-views, unless they just pull a swerve.
Swerve's house.
Which Swerve has been tag champion
Revolution.
too.
Oh wait, you already started one.
So, all right, next up was very likely the
Hollywood
match of the
ending.
night, or match that stole most of the thunder of the evening.
Hmm.
The women's Hollywood ending story: Tony Storm versus Mariah May.
Timeless Tony
Timeless
Storm.
Tony Storm. This was impressive, and I think I've been reading a lot about it. I'm not the hugest fan of blood in women's matches,
Yeah.
but it is also somewhat mildly entertaining, but also kind of cool to see that they can go as hard as the guys can sometimes on
Yeah.
these more hardcore style matches.
Yeah.
And so for that, I give them mad props. And they weren't just little bleeding bumps, they took some pretty big bumps, and they did some pretty good in ring psychology storytelling. And the way they ended it all, it was pretty impressive. And if you go read reviews of this feud and this match, everyone has been giving it high praise, probably in the runnings for like feud of the year type stuff, just with
Yep.
how well they've done the stories and all of that. What did you think of it?
It was great. I loved it. Like the psychology behind it all, knowing and their video package. Usually, I mean, I kind of well internally criticize AEW's video packages. Like they're usually not as great as WWE's, but
Mm-hmm.
like this one, it hammered home the point. Like, hey, this is a feud that you need to pay attention to.
Yep. And they
Like,
brought back the shoe, and they had glass, and
huh? I would say it was co-match of the night. Like I'd put it up there with the Osprey one here that we're getting ready to talk about in a minute. Like it was up there. Like it was amazing. Like oh my gosh. Like
yeah,
so
I
I
would
give it.
say, yeah, I'd probably give it 5 stars. It was pretty good.
Yep.
Say five.
Yep. 5 out of 5.
All right. Next up was Takosh
Talk a lot of stuff.
Inosuke Takeshita versus Kenny Omega.
Takashita
So
Omega.
this was, we both picked Omega to go over and win the international championship. Takeshita's had it a long time. Kenny Omega's back. He deserves some gold. He's always got good character work, always got great ring work, good storytelling work.
Ado.
He can still go after having a foot and a half of his intestines taken out.
It's
You
just
know, just impressive all the way. He had some cool gear on for some cartoon or anime or some. I didn't recognize it, but I saw it online somewhere. I thought this was great. I'm a huge Osprey mark, not Osprey, Omega mark.
you are an Osprey Mark.
I am the Osprey mark. I'm a big Kenny Omega mark, and so I was super excited. I will only give it 4 stars. I was thinking it was a little slow, and sometimes going right after a hardcore match can make a good regular match still seem not quite
Yeah.
as impressive. I'll see the main event coming up later. So I'd give it 4 stars, but I was super happy that Omega won,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm looking forward to Omega being champ for a while.
Where's my Omega action figure? It's somewhere. I have to find it. Now I have my heel, Cena and Rock over there. But yeah, it was great. I would agree, 4 out of 5 stars. I love that Takashita would go after
Takeshita.
stomach. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I love that T Money, T Pain, whatever you want to call him. Going after the stomach and abdomen, just oh, it's still got to hurt some. Like even foot and a half of oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, it was great. Omega's got that look, and he's been out for what, almost 2 years,
He was out, yeah, 18 plus months, long time.
and to come back and just boom, and then that was it, a German suplex. Oh, and he got hit on the floor, stomach first, like
Yeah.
it just makes
That
my
one
stomach
looked
cramp
rough,
just
and then
thinking
I
about it.
always like the one winged angel. I love that move when he finishes with that. That's cool.
So it was good. He's gonna be a good champ. It's good to have him back.
Yes, very good. All right, next up was the cage match, and also probably contender for match of the night:
Co-match of the night, yes.
Osprey versus Kyle Fletcher. Oh man, what a cool intro! Osprey's music is always awesome. And then that opening shot of them both standing on top of the cage, and the big long, I don't know if it was a drone or a camera, an arm camera pull out going past them all,
Oh
where they
yeah.
were both on top of the cage, and what's his face had his fingers in his ears while everyone was just chanting Osprey's song, and I was like, that was a cool shot.
And to think these two used to be friends, compadres, right? Like, and now it's like, yeah, we hate each other. Want to beat the tar out of each other.
Yeah,
And all the more blood and the more the licking and the like
yeah. Kyle Fletcher was being a little crazy, licking the blood everywhere and
that's
on
how
the
you
fence,
get
and
diseases. That's
right.
gross. You
So
sick person. That's the
you got to
crowd.
wonder if they have to get like blood tested ahead of time and be like, "Hey, I'm disease free, so I can bleed
Yeah,
on you, and are you okay with me
that's
bleeding on you?"
okay. Yeah.
So that's
So,
interesting. Lots of what all did they weapons did they use? I forgot.
there's barbed wire,
Barbed wire, tacks. Oh,
screwdrivers.
he took the Styles Clash crotch first on the pile of
Oh,
tacks, and I was just like,
yeah.
oh, I had not seen that before. I was like, that's gotta hurt.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Even if he had a cup in, I was like, you
Yep.
know,
Still. Mm-mm.
I was like, oh
Oh
man.
man.
So and then
Yeah.
they had the cool cage spot at the top, and I was just like, oh man, what are they gonna do? And it was like a Spanish fly. I went
Uh-huh.
back and watched it a lot. Osprey kind of like went sideways, and Fletcher just went like straight over a flip, and Osprey landed all on his shoulder. Like I can't imagine diving 15 feet down, or even kind of falling, so you're not like jumping. It's a slower momentum, but still to like hit on your shoulder and then roll, it's gotta hurt.
And then there was that what was it? The brain buster. The chair like broke or folded the wrong way, like the opposite way it was supposed to,
Oh yeah, there
and
was
then all the
some.
blood that he kept wiping all over his white
Yeah,
ring gear and stuff. It just
there were some crazy spots. A little. Amy was watching with me, and she was like, "This is gross and too much." She's like, "I don't like this at all," and I was like, "Yeah, that's okay.
you'll get over it. It's
You don't
fine.
have to like it." Anyways, I
It was
thought
good.
I thought there was some good storytelling in there too. People either really like it or really hate it when he's like screaming, "Hey, I hate you," and
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, I just have to do what I have to do." Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was good storytelling in the middle of all just the beating the hell out of each other. So Osprey wins. This was
I give
not
it a
for a
five.
belt, but yeah, I'd give
I
it
give it a
five
five
stars.
out of five. I hope they move on. I've seen it a few times and it's been good. It's been great. Just okay, now it's another Don Callis or whatever story involvement. So just
Yep, you got to pick
I
up
don't
and
know.
move on. So it was
Time
good,
to move on.
good, good top of the mountain ending match. But yeah, I did like Osprey had a promo later on. They said, and he was like, "Hey, I want to be the guy by All In." So he's going to try to win the tournament, the Owen coming up.
Hmm.
And he was like, "AEW is where the best wrestle," and he's like, "But this is where Billy wrestles." And I was like, "Oh, that was a good promo."
Wah,
So
wah.
that was cool. All right, and then finally the main event, which was kind of a snooze fest.
Yeah.
And then the crowd showed it because you just had a crazy cage match, and then now we're bringing out the old guys to try to do a cool match after something so crazy, and it's been 3.5 hours.
Yep.
So they should have done the cage match or the women's match last. Either one of those would have done great to end
Yeah.
it, but I get trying to do the main event with your championship title. It makes sense, but we never see the championship title because we're in this stupid storyline, you know?
Yeah, and it's run its course. Like Moxley has to get a new character. Like
He needs
it's
to go back
just
to a babyface or something, or
I don't know, something. Uh,
so.
Match
And
was pretty good. It just I mean, at first it was a little slow and you're like, okay, and then you're like, oh, Christian's cashing in. Like, okay,
yep,
this actually
which was your bold take that Christian
some
would catch in,
sense. And I was like, okay, maybe
which I was
this
surprised he
will
didn't cash in when it
work.
was over. But then he's also addressed that. He said, I cashed in against Copeland and the referee messed it up, and he's trying to blame everybody. And
Yeah.
then Nick Wayne said, no, you're just full of crap. You suck, and you lied. So there's some tension building in the patriarchy, which is good.
Yeah.
They need that for good storytelling. But yeah,
Now I would have
fail.
loved it if Copeland would have pinned Christian to win. I think that would have been great. But
Yeah. So failed cash in. They're having a rematch this next week coming up. Because of that, everyone's saying, oh, it didn't go the way exactly it was supposed to. So Cope said, I didn't lose the match. And so he wants a rematch, but
sure.
everyone's on the internet saying it's because the match kind of sucked.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't a terrible match. I'd give it 3 stars. It was
Yeah.
just an okay match, but it was really hard to follow that cage match. And
Yeah.
then it was just not as entertaining, and everyone was tired.
Yep.
But they did kind of redeem themselves a little bit at the end. They had Swerve come out and attack Moxley as the number one contender. And Dynasty is less than 3 weeks away, so 4 weeks back then, but a pretty quick turnaround for next pay per view. So hopefully it'll build pretty quick. And
At least for AEW.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'll either, I don't know if they'll switch the belt back to Swerve or something, but at least there's a new storyline. Maybe they'll keep the Death Riders out of it. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah,
But yeah,
cause
this they've got Dynasty in April and then Double or Nothing in May, and then All In July. So hopefully by July at the latest. Gosh, we've got to be a new champ. Hopefully,
something, because you need. Yeah,
it's just
I
kind of
don't know.
falling apart. So it's time for a change, and
It
hopefully,
is.
but they've got the cash in gone, so that's another storyline closed. So and they got the Owen coming up, which is a good tournament.
And that gives anybody. Remind me on that one. I can't remember
I
what.
think it's just a title shot at
Oh,
All In. It's a prestigious tournament to win. You get a just a trophy and a belt or whatever, but
so
you
it's
get a championship shot.
kind of like WWE's Royal Rumble,
Well, it's a tournament, so it'd be like King of the
but
Ring.
not. I mean,
But
but like the results wise, like if you had to
yeah, you
compare.
get a title shot.
Gotcha.
So and then they started a tournament for the international championship, and that's going on for all the mid carders to see who gets a shot at Kenny Omega. So all in all, I would give the pay per view. I would give it 5 stars. It was great. Revolution is always probably one of their better pay per views of the year. It's the first one of the year. Last year's was great with Sting retiring in his match. That was really cool. So I
Yeah,
always like Revolution pay per views. I'd give it 5 stars on the pay per view as a whole.
I would too. Like it was a good one. And like you said, 9 matches in 3.5 hours. I mean, and it wasn't. None of them seemed maybe except the tag team one seemed like too long. Like, oh my gosh, this is
Yeah,
ridiculous. But it was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. So it was definitely worth ordering that one.
definitely for sure. And so we got Dynasty coming up in a month. We got some live wrestling to go to. I actually went and saw a little local show the other day. Oh, I got there like an hour and a half late, but I saw 3 matches, and one of them was Matt Riddle against some no-name guy, and
Bruh.
so that was entertaining, just to see him do that. And he's tall and muscular for a small guy.
Yeah.
And he climbed up on the top rope and then hit his head on a light when he jumped to hit a guy because it was a small venue, but it was entertaining. But yeah, we got some TNA coming up, and then we got some WrestleMania. I think is the next pay per view coming up, and then we got a Raw like 2 weeks after WrestleMania.
Then one of these somewhere around here, I keep seeing stuff about it. Formerly known as Baron Corbin, I don't know what his name is now, is doing some kind of wrestling somewhere around here in Kansas City.
Oh yeah,
So I keep seeing it. I was like, I always liked him,
so
KC guy, even though some of his
oh
personas
he's
were.
from Casey.
Yeah, he's a Kansas City guy.
I didn't know that.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh,
So
that's cool. And I saw Collision's coming back to Wichita in May sometime, so that's only about 2 hours away. So that's a maybe.
yeah.
So good times. We like wrestling. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on the socials. Thanks for following and subscribing.
And
We
boo
will.
Derek for winning the belt back. Come on, you got to stick with the heel, the younger bros. Shout out to all you younger brothers out there.
Yeah, wrestling's a good time. Let us know what you think. We will catch you guys and when we talk about the next one. Later.
Yeah.